Hello, hello. Welcome to Paranormally Speaking. I am Kathy Rogers. This is Lynda Queer. We are here to entertain you this week.
Uh-oh, she brought a musical instrument with me.
Before we start the show, guys, we're going to ask, you know what, if you can press the like button, press subscribe. You know what, here's the thing. This is free.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't cost you anything to like. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. So click the button, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. So yeah, actually, it looks like our guest did join us, Lynda, because we weren't too sure if Kendra was able to come on. Although I don't know if she can hear me. I'm not getting a camera from her. So we might have to, I'm just going to bring her on stage and see if we can hear. Hey, Kendra.
Hey, ladies, how are you?
Good. We can't see you, though.
Okay, let me see if I can do something about that. I'm not sure.
Sure.
Let's see. Anything?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, let's see what this one does.
There should be, in the settings, you should be able to see, maybe Lynda, you can guide her from your side, because I got the admin part.
Yeah. Okay, so at the bottom of your screen, there should be a camera icon.
Yeah.
So
I see
click on the camera. Oh.
It puts,
strange.
Yeah, it gives me a little camera with with like a line through it. And then it gives me, it looks like this should be it, the second push, but I'm not showing up. So let me see my settings.
Okay. Are you on your phone or computer?
I'm on my laptop.
That could be why. So there might be something in your laptop where you need to press to allow the camera to be accessed by StreamYard. Yeah.
I'm taking a look at it. Let's see.
In the meantime, we'll just kind of chat for a second. And yeah, how are you doing, Lynda? What's going on?
You know, it's been really busy. I've been a chauffeur all week. Anybody who has an elderly parent or children still living at home that need to go to multiple doctor's appointments and all that stuff, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I said to my husband, for Christmas this year, I need a little cap that says chauffeur. I know.
Yeah. Or Uber, maybe put Uber.
Yeah, something like that. It's kind of crazy, but you know, it would be nice though if I don't know. It would be nice if I got, I don't know, maybe some kind of coffee gift cards to go along with the chauffeur hat. Just saying. Oh well.
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Don't you think?
Perfectly reasonable. I was just gonna say to Kendra, the other thing you might want to try is maybe log in from your phone, because you that way your phone camera would be accessed. Just a thought.
It's a great thought, but I can't do that today as the baby dropped my phone. That's why I was late. The baby dropped my phone. And it's doing that thing where you can hear all the notifications, but it's just black. So yeah. That's why I was like, let me find my laptop so I can join them. We can just talk now. Like, I mean, I look really beautiful.
For sure. I mean, you know, like
we can just talk.
Absolutely.
We can talk. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. So we're the discussion that we're having today is about third eye reawakening and spiritual awakening. And I actually love these topics because there are a lot of people right now that are kind of going through things, going through an awakening of some sort, maybe realizations of that there's more out there, but also just wanting to get deeper in touch with themselves. And, you know, one of the misconceptions, as we all know, which, you know, obviously we can talk about, is that spiritual awakening is all like fairies and butterflies and angels and, you know what I mean? And lifting you up into the clouds and, you know, stringing the harp and singing fa la 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 la. And, you know, good portion of the time, it is not that. can have good, it can have good in it, absolutely, right? But let's talk about that a little bit, Kendra, because this was actually something that you suggested that we discussed today, and I absolutely love this topic.
I thought it would be a good thing to discuss for the same reason that you just mentioned. Can I call you Kathy, or is it Cathryn?
Oh, either one. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, Cathryn, I thought that for the same reason as you, it seems that everyone is going through that, right? There's a mass awakening that's happening right now. And it's overdue and it's time, but there are a lot of misunderstandings, misinformation out there about what a spiritual awakening even is, and how does one cope with that and deal with the symptoms of that. How do you still function in the duality of the matrix and the spiritual realm, and that thin veil between the two? How do you balance that? And it's what is that line between a spiritual awakening and a mental health disorder? So there's a lot that we can discuss around the topic. The first thing I want to say is that everything that I have to say today is based on my own experience. So it'll be my perspective, and it'll be in my experience. My experience is not going to be the same as everyone else's. Hopefully I'll be able to leave people here today with some tools that they can try to see if they work for them.
I love that. I think that's so relevant, because you're right. We're all different and our experiences are different. But I love that you're going to share what you've gone through, because there might be somebody out there who thinks, okay, this happened to me and nobody else has experienced this, but maybe something might resonate with what you are going to be talking about. And that's so important.
Agreed. In my experience, a spiritual awakening is a remembering, right? It's a remembering of who and what we are, where we are, and why we're here, right? And I think everyone experiences spiritual awakening on some level, right? It's going to be based on their perceptions, their experience, and how they embody that in their life. And the reason I say that everyone experiences, even those who would even say that they are not spiritual or haven't had a spiritual awakening, is because that remembering, those reminders of who and what we are and why we're here are all around us, all of us, every day. Those moments that we might call coincidences, we know they're synchronicities. Even those moments, for people who will brush them off or reason them away, those are meant to trigger you to remember who you are, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
I'm sorry, Cathryn, you were going to say something?
I don't remember. It's okay. No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. If it pops up again, I'll mention it. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love the way that you said that, that it is a remembering of who we are, all of that. Like that's beautifully said.
Thank you. And it's really interesting from my perspective as someone who experienced spiritual awakening earlier. We're talking over, how old am I? Around like 2012, 2013 for me. So I call that early. I forget you guys can't see me. Lynda knows I'm a hand talker and I'm very animated and visual, but I'm like, oh wait, they can't see me.
Just imagine her waving her arms. Okay, well,
good.
It's interesting for me to see from my perspective as someone who experienced spiritual reawakening and survived and lived to tell. Back in what I would say the early days of it here in the Western world, to see the conversations that everyone has these days, and the terminology and the language that is used. Because when I was using that language back in 2012, 2013, if it wasn't for my self-awareness and the wonderful people around me, well, they might have locked me up, right? And now
True.
it's common language that we use to say things like spiritual reawakening, to talk about the third eye, and not have it be this mysterious, dark thing, right? So it's really interesting to see how far we've come, just even around the idea of spirituality and different levels and different realms and different ways of connecting to divine energy.
So, okay, what was your first, like, from what you remember, obviously, what was, is that your smoke alarm, Lynda? Or is that?
I think it's mine. I'm just a treat today.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, because my smoke alarm was peeping about 2 weeks ago. So we changed all the batteries. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, okay, so is it mine or?
No, it's 100% me. And when I came down and I was already running late from the broken phone, and I sat down and got everything set up and started going, and it went beep, I was like, of course, absolutely.
Of course.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
But yeah,
I'm
from
living my
like,
life.
it's really interesting actually, because when you say about 2012, 2013, that's about the time that I would have to say that I actually started. I think that's kind of around the time period. Mine was maybe around 2010, 2011, where I started like really investigating paranormal, kind of going into that. We had been dealing with, like, excuse my language, a fuckload of hauntings up until then in my own home, and so all kinds of things. So, that kind of led me to there. And that's where I kind of started going through my own spiritual evolution, awakening, that sort of thing. But it was around that same time period, actually. So what was it that, like, what did you first, like, how did this all start? I guess
Well,
is the best. Yeah.
I think it started for me. I know it started for me the same it started for you and for everyone else. It starts with discomfort. It starts with a discomfort within yourself in relation to the things external from you, your job, the people around you, the life you're living. Something begins to not resonate. And I find for a lot of people, and you can let me know if this resonates with you, it happens almost at a point where you are supposed to be at the height of success. You've kind of reached where they told you you were supposed to be, where you got there. Like, you've got the good career that you're supposed to have. You've got the whole house you're supposed to have, the car you're supposed to have, all these material things. So on paper, in the realm of the matrix, everything looks fantastic. So what the heck are you so depressed, sad, walking around like there's a rain cloud above your head about? Because it's not sitting well with your soul, right? It's left of the mission and the purpose that your soul came back to do. So that discomfort is the first phase. And then from that discomfort comes seeking, right? You begin to seek, whether you're going through I mean, most of us start by seeking through religion. It's what we know in this world. It's what's put forward to us, right? So now we're studying Christianity or whatever we grew up in. Then we're like, okay, well, let's see what Allah has to say about all this. Okay, Allah says this. Okay, well, what does Buddha say? And you go on this seeking. And what happens to those who seek? We know, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you find.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Or you are found.
That's true. And everybody around you, as you're seeking, because I'm this way, when I'm seeking, I talk and I verbalize all of the thoughts that are going through my mind. And I have to say, a lot of the time when I was going through a lot of it, people around me, I realized who were authentically my peeps, who were my friends, who in my circle was understanding this incredible process that was going on and who was looking at me like I was a crazy woman.
There's a clarity that
Oh,
comes with it, right? There's an ability to see
yes.
beyond, right? You go beyond intuition. Initially, you call it intuition, but yeah, there's a clarity that comes with it, and an ability to see through the BS of it all, right? To see right to the heart of things. I always say, when people have said to me, always, one of your gifts reading, now that you're awake, and obviously you begin to tap into those things that you kind of just thought you had a little aptitude for, and then you realize that they're your divine gifts. So people often ask me if one of my gifts is reading minds, and it's absolutely not. I wish, but it might as well be, because I always say it's not the minds that I'm reading, it's the hearts, right?
Absolutely.
That heart
And the
energy.
energy, just the energy out there too. Like
Exactly.
sometimes you hear or feel, or you can just resonate with the vibration of that person, which can mimic, I guess, the reading of the minds.
Absolutely. It's all energy and frequency, right? So it's exactly what I was going to say, that heart energy emanating out of them will tell me immediately everything that they're not actually saying verbally, right? I'm on concern with the external at this point. But in the beginning, it's always interesting when someone experiences that spiritual awakening, especially when they've had the actual third eye, the pineal gland, decalcify and reopen. Because I think we all do the same thing, like Miss Lynda spoke about, talking and sharing, right? Oh my goodness, I wanted to share. I wanted everyone to know what I knew, because if only they knew, and let me save them. Right? that you're like a baby again, being born again, right? And the heart becomes so pure as you experience that divine bliss, and you just want to spread the information and share it with everyone. And of course, over time, as you grow in your journey, you come to realize that you have to leave everyone to their journey, and you don't really have a right to interfere.
Mm-hmm.
They know why they're here, and you once were where they are. There's no hierarchy. There's just our journeys.
That's true. That's very true. So what were your sensations, your feelings, and all of that with the third eye reopening? I mean, what did you sense? How did you feel?
So for me, I used to say that I had a spontaneous third eye reawakening. As I've evolved, I've come to know that there's no such thing. It was just the time, right? It was just my time to experience that. So let's talk about the physical of it
Yes.
all. So some of the symptoms are, unfortunately, extreme migraines. Most people, just before it opens, will actually get an eye infection. It's usually in the right eye. It's usually inexplicable to your energy, your mindset at that point, right? You're looking for eye drops or something. Yeah, right. You're trying. All you know is what you know at that point, right? So you're trying to equate it. I'll tell you an interesting story about my eye infection. And why I called it. Let me tell you the story. How about that?
Okay.
Let me tell you the story. So I was seeking and studying all the different kinds of things. And then I found the autobiography of a yogi.
Oh my God. Me too.
By Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yes.
And he called me. He spoke to me. His eyes. And I looked up his meditations by him after doing some research and reading most of the book. I've read all the book many times since, but at that point, and you'll get why at this point it's just most of the book, right?
Yeah.
So I've read most of the book, and he's communicating with me energetically.
Wow.
And so I look up a meditation on YouTube for him, and I lay down in my bed and I listen to the meditation. Now, this is something prior to this evening that I had done many, many times with many different, meditators and meditation, guided meditations type of vibe. So it was nothing new. But I never tried this Paramansa Yogananda one before, and I was down this path, and he had found me. And I had been researching all about the pineal gland and the third eye and the eye of Ra and the eye of Horus and all of that, and piecing it all together. And at that point, my mind was still rooted in the matrix. So I was trying to reason and trying to scientifically understand things, because that's at that level, my understanding was that that's what was real, air quotes, right? And so I did this meditation, and I fell asleep, again, air quotes, sleep, during this meditation. And when I reawoke, I 100% was able to visually see through 3 eyes, not just 2.
Wow.
Like in a very real way. So I went to my kids thought I had lost my mind. I'm in the mirror closing one eye, closing the other. I'm outlining the area that I now have vision and sight through with like eyeliner, because I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to process, because in all the reading and intellectual journals and understanding, I intellectualized it to death, that it was so hard to grasp the reality of it. And I realized that that moment, that despite all my research, I was still obviously very skeptical and still very rooted in the matrix. But then there it was, right in front of my face. So let's backtrack a little bit. That's when it opened, and just that's exactly what it is. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it removes the veil, right? Once it decalcifies. But during the decalcification process, before it actually opened, I got a really bad eye infection in my right eye. And I called up looking for an eye doctor that I could go to get this eye looked at. So I found one not far from here. Yeah, let's not give out too much. Not far from here. And so I forget it's not just us, eh? Yeah, I found one not far from here. And so I called and I made an appointment, and my appointment day came, and I went to the appointment, and there was just a weird energy, but I was in a weird energy. So the whole thing was just a weird energy. But anyways, I went in, and there were a lot of people there, and a lot of interesting types of people in this waiting room that seemed ridiculously packed for some weird reason. But I was like, okay, really popular eye doctor, right? What do I know? So I wait my turn, and the energy, the vibe in there, like I wish I could feel it again now from a different perspective. But anyway, at that point, I'm just like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? And I go in, and I see the eye doctor, and he checks me out, whatnot. And he says, everything's fine. You can pick up your prescription at the reception on your way out. And I said, thank you so much. And just before he leaves the room, he turns back and he says, yeah, all 3 eyes are fine. And he says, all 3 eyes are fine. Gets more interesting.
What?
I pop up, and I'm just sitting on the table, on the table type checkout thing, chair type of vibe. But yeah, and so sitting there thinking about that, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get out of here. So I get out of there and I leave, and it's still just a strange energy. And I carry on, and I come home, and over time I tell people about it, and then I decided that I want to go there. Like, I want my husband to get in the car and take me there, because I want to go there. I've been there many times since that day. There is no building.
What?
There is no building. There is no eye doctor there, has never been there. The name of the eye doctor that I have written down that I had the appointment with, date and time, does not exist.
What?
Has never been an eye doctor in this area by that name, that building. It's just an empty lot, and it does not exist, I am told. And I've accepted it because I understand.
Wow.
Yeah, it was information that you needed to hear, right? Like, it was that confirmation, validation, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. A little portal created
Yeah.
Just for
just for
you.
me. Yeah. And that doesn't make me special in any way, shape, or form. Those things happen for all of us.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. When
I remember, like similar, like not exactly like that, but I remember, like after my son was born, there was a whole that's just a whole topic, but that's a whole show. But uh, I remember I would be pushing his stroller, down the mall, and I would have complete strangers come up to me and say, this boy is very special. You're going to be his guide, something very similar to that. And then they would just sort of continue going. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? But this would happen like quite regularly. I wouldn't say every time we went out or anything, but I would say, like a couple of times a year for sure. I remember we were at a gas station. We were going on vacation to like Drumheller, and had him in the car, and this guy just wanders over all of a sudden, and he was like, that boy that you have in the I don't even know how he could tell because our windows were black, you know what I mean, like you couldn't even really see it. He goes, that boy that you have in there, you take care of him, mama, because he's going to be somebody special.
Whoa.
We've got to have a show about that because let me tell you, I've got 4 of them in my home that are wow and
Yeah.
awake. Oh, there's no need for a reawakening. They never fell asleep.
Absolutely.
They came in. And that's one thing I wanted to say about this, why we say reawakening, right? Because we come in fully awake and aware. We're just in that physical baby form. And so it's limiting, right?
Yes.
But it isn't until that's the importance of that first 5 years in the matrix, right? Because that is when the programming has to happen for the forgetting of who they truly are and why they came. That's the programming that happens in those first 5 years will make all the difference. The programming, unfortunately, that most of us receive causes us to forget who we are and fall asleep until we come to a point of reawakening later. But if you have a parent that is awake or reawakened, the programming, it can be as such that the child never has to fall asleep. And so my 4 have been awake, and it's a very different energy when you realize a lot of times that you're dealing with souls older than your own in some cases. In other cases, you are dealing with reincarnated ancestors,
Yes.
siblings, parents in different cases. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's so flattering. I'm so flattered that my children chose me to come through onto life to be. How amazing is that?
Absolutely.
I remember when my son was probably about 2 or 3 years old, and he insisted we'd have to go for a walk. This happened for about 2 weeks, and as we were going for the walk, he's holding my hand, and he's like, I don't see it. And I said, what are you talking about? And he's like, I gotta find home. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, it's right here. It's supposed to be here, but I don't see it. I don't see my other home. And then one day he says, I'm not supposed to, he just comes up to me and he says, I'm not supposed to be at my other home. I'm supposed to be with you. And he just grabs me this great big hug. But it was almost like remembering a reincarnation.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. It was scary. Because every time he would say that, I was like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like you're terrified of that. But at the same time, I was fascinated because he was just so dead set on, like we would be at the park and he would be looking around and you could see him looking for, something. It was really interesting.
That's really interesting. Huh. That is really strange. I mean, I've heard stories of that, of little people saying, okay, so yeah, I don't feel quite right. I don't feel like I'm home. But what's interesting too, Kendra, when you were talking about, it's not so much a reawakening, like we talk about the reawakening. Children are totally awake. I mean, from day one. And Kathy and I being, paranormal investigators, we know the magic, because children, what you see is what you get. And they know and they see and they hear. And when you go on investigations, right? And there's little kids, they know.
Absolutely. I mean, my family is known in town, so I won't use any names or anything, but I'll just kind of do it like this. I have one who is my father reincarnated, and I have absolutely no, I think in my journey, in my experience, in my personal journey, I'm past doubt, I'm past belief. I have a deep inner knowing, based on my own personal experiences, that cannot be shaken. And I don't think there's anyone who knows me who would say, oh, well, she's mentally unstable or unbalanced or anything like that. Like I have developed a large capacity and tools to deal with my conditions and with my reconnection to the divine and the divine realm, and I'm able to balance the duality of the matrix as well, right? So I can it can be right, and it can be both, and a multitude of things can be true at the same time. The question is, as someone who is spiritually awakened, can you stay in the middle? Can you not be swayed by the praise or by the blame? Because the same people who say yay, 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 and clap for you today are the same people that'll put you in a straitjacket tomorrow. So can you not, can you come out of your ego and walk the middle path and stay in the middle path? When they praise you, you say thank you. When they blame you, you say thank you, right? And you stay regardless of what is going on. There are tools. That's not magic. There's magic. Magic is a very real thing, much like reincarnation and spiritual reawakening and the third eye and so many other things. But so is physical brick and mortar house. So is money. So is a job. So is all of that. So can you balance those things? It's a difficult thing to do, but the tools aren't magic. The tools come through practice, and it can be many different kinds of practice, right? For me, it came through traditional yoga practices, right? I'm a karma yogini, so I've taken a vow for my life to be a contribution to collective well-being, right? To the greatest good. That's my choice, but you can reach it through anything, even the things that have created kind of a bad rap for themselves, like certain religions or things like that. If you look to the heart of them and you really study the work, they are also a way out. So yoga for me has been the way, but it's not the way for everybody. It's a way. And there are so many ways, right? All of it is a way. The paths are many, the destination's the same. We're all going to meet up at the same big barbecue someplace, right? How you get there is up to you, and it's going to be based on your experiences, and not just in this body that you're in now, not just in this vehicle, but all the experiences of your soul in all the different vehicles that it's well, I guess in your world you might say possessed or inhabited. It might be nicer, right? So like we're all going to get there. That deep inner knowing makes the difference for me. So I don't spend a lot of time in doubt. I have learned to trust myself and to trust that inner knowing, and that's through show and proof, right? Growing and using the tools. So symptoms, physical, real world symptoms for people listening that might be at the very beginning of that journey, the headaches, definitely real world treat them. Hello, Matrix, treat your headache, help yourself, whether that's a natural remedy or a pharmaceutical remedy, what works for you, right? Go to the doctor with your eye infection, right? We'll work through all of it. Both things can be true, right? You can be having your pineal gland or your third eye decalcified and you still need eye drops. Right? Both things can be true. Don't be crazy. I said it. balance the duality, right? You can sit and om for 20 minutes and have this really magical, peaceful feeling inside, but you can also go for a walk with a friend and get that same feeling, right? Yeah. Find what works for you. So what we do at my wellness center is we share the tools that have helped us through are spiritual reawakenings, and we ask people to learn them and to try them, and then to throw out the ones that don't work for you, keep the ones that do, and then seek and find your own tools that are going to work for you. But there are tools, right? Don't just sit there um, and let it take over everything. There has to be a balance to things, right? Because you are in a physical being. Yes, you are this infinite, immortal, divine being of light having another human experience, 100%. But that experience, in order to be relevant and be functional in the thickness of this realm, has to happen in a meat suit. You have to get in the body, you have to get in the vehicle, right? So you have to take care of the body, you have to take care of the vehicle, you got to pay your rent, your mortgage, your light, your heat, your water, whatever it is, unfortunately, right? You have to balance the two, right? And it becomes so much easier to balance the heaviness, the thickness, the density of the matrix stuff, the lighter you allow your spirit to be, and the healthier your body is, because the body is simply channels for your spirit to flow through. So the cleaner and purer those channels are, the easier that spirit's going to flow through, and the easier the balancing of all this stuff is going to be.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true. I mean, and everything goes hand in hand. Like we always say, right? The interconnectedness of everything kind of blows you away. And when you first begin the journey, and when we have our public meetings, people come up and they go, yeah, and the young people especially, like we're talking teenagers, they're like blown away. It's like, man, I just realized how connected everything is. And it's so incredible because, they're kind of making those connections, and it's such a joy to actually see that, and to have someone come up to you and say those things is like, oh, yay.
It's a big yay, because like we started off talking about at the beginning, you do feel isolated, alone, and in the beginning people do make you feel like maybe I'm not okay,
Yeah.
so it's beautiful when you can come to the other side of that. And now it's always interesting, I'm out in public and I hear certain conversations and I'm like, what, we can talk about that openly now? That's amazing. So it's good. It's good. Everybody's growing and changing. The important thing to know too, though, the mental health piece is super important too, though, because if you have been programmed a certain way most of your life, and you don't, and you have this third eye reawakening or spiritual reconnection, but you don't have people around you to support you in a loving way, or you don't have or know the tools, all those, that wonderful joy, love, peace, bliss, abundance, and liberation. And I think at the beginning you opened up by saying, like rainbows and butterflies and all of that. That could all go sideways very quickly if you don't have the right supports, because a spiritual awakening is completely opposite to everything that the matrix and this reality has programmed into us from the day we come into it. It's completely contrary to that, right? And so that is going to feel like madness, and people around you are going to tell you that it's madness, and they're going to offer you medication and
Absolutely.
And some people, don't get me wrong, some people do need the medication. So you have to figure out both two things can be true, right?
Just a shift in the questions here. I just want to ask you something. Do you feel, however, that there are people, maybe even entities to some degree, that are trying to distract people from their own spiritual awakening, especially like when we do talk about people that are kind of alluding to the fact that maybe you're crazy, or something like, especially, so here's, and the reason that I bring this up is especially nowadays, because 50 years ago, it wasn't, well, actually that would be the 60s, right? So but you know what I mean? But years ago, right, when we did talk about spiritual awakening or something, if it wasn't church related, then you were, probably a Looney Tune that needed to be locked up, and we had mental institutions or whatever. But nowadays, spirituality is so, in everything. like whether
Yeah.
it's on TV, whether it's, you know, with our friends, our family, like it's basically like all over the place right now. It's not that elusive like mystery creature that it used to be so much. But I'm just wondering, do you feel like there are people, or like I said, entities that are trying to, I guess, dissuade people from following their own spiritual path?
My short answer is absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And imagine someone who has no tools. That's why it's so important for those of us who know to do the work of sharing the tools with other people so that they can have coping, like real world, like practical things. This is what we teach at my wellness center, practical ways, right? That you can protect yourself
Yes.
in a situation like that, or from situations like that, right? So, and entities don't always look like, you know, something out of a movie, like a monster in the mirror or
Right.
anything like that. Can they look that way? Sure, I've heard stories. I've seen some things in my own experience as well. But most of the time, those entities are just embodying someone of flesh and blood that looks just like you, someone close to you, someone that you might listen to, right? So yes, of course. And those entities, they're just doing their job, right? That's part of it. There's a balance to things. Every culture talks about opposites, right? The good, the bad, evil, and love, and yin and yang, and all of it. There's always going to be two sides to a thing, and that battle is going to be ongoing. That battle exists within each of us individually, personally, right? A big part of spiritual awakening, and battling entities, the most entities that you're going to have to battle in a spiritual awakening are the ones that exist within yourself, right? The ones that were created by the traumas that you experienced in your life that you didn't take the time to heal. If you don't heal the traumas, and when I say heal, I mean face them, looking them right in the eyes, sitting with them till you can't sit with them anymore. Till when you get up, you sat with them for so long that you allow them to consume you and break you. And when you get up, you can tell that story now with your head held high without tears, no matter how awful it was, because you found it. So those are the entities that I think are going to be your hardest battles, because once you have battled the entities within yourself, the entities that are masquerading in other people's meat suits, well, you just see them coming a mile away. And at Kendra Yoga Center, we have a practice that I call your bullshit blocker, right? And you set up your bullshit blocker in the morning, and it's not that bullshit doesn't come at you. It's almost like it's slowed down and you can see it coming, and it almost kind of becomes funny. Like I'm always smiling and people are like, what the heck is she so happy about? It becomes absolutely amusing to see it coming. Like you see that lady come into the coffee line and you can feel her energy just huffing and puffing, and that she wants a problem with you. And you're back for no reason, right? That's just that entity that's possessed her that morning, and she's coming to throw you off because you're on your game today and she's been sent to do her job. But now you got your bullshit blocker up and you can see it coming a mile away, and you just got a big smile on your face and you say, hi, good morning, before she says anything, and she's disarmed. She doesn't know what to do. What are you going to say to hi, good morning? What you going to do?
I love that.
So yes, there are entities sent within other beings, but I think once you heal the traumas within yourself and fall in love with your darkness, we all possess both, right? I always tell people that, because they have the privilege, unlike my husband and my children, of seeing only my light, right? They have that. The outside world has that privilege, but I always tell people on the outside that my dark is just as dark as my light is light, right? And I understand it. I've chosen it. I've fallen in love with it. I've embodied it. And then I get up and I choose the light every day. Every day, it's a choice. Every day, especially when you look around and you see people who are choosing their dark, and you see them having more matrix air quotes, success than you, if that's a thing. And then you're like, well, you mean I could be an asshole too, right? I could, but I'm going to choose the light. And I think those of us who are consistently choosing the light are the real heroes of this planet, because it's a very, very hard thing to do, especially once you know yourself and you know and understand your dark, and you know and understand that there is no governing entity that is rewarding good and punishing bad. It's simply frequency and the response or reaction to frequency, right? So you can do what you will. There is only going to be the response, the reaction of every, because of the connection of everything to everything, right? So you can do what you will, but what you do comes back to you. As within, so without. As above, so below. So I think the souls like myself who are getting up every day after falling in love with our darkness and choosing the light every single day. I got to get up and choose it, ladies. Right? I hate when people tell me, "Oh, you're such a good person." Am I? Am I? You don't know that. There's no way for you to know that. I get up and I choose to let the joy arise within me and to focus on love, peace, bliss, abundance, and liberation. It's a daily choice, because this realm positions you in such a way that it would be so easy to choose the other way. And you would probably be better off in terms of material things in the matrix if you did. It's a kerfluffle. So those of us who are getting up and choosing the light every day, I think we're heroes. And the reason that I think we're heroes is not only because it's such a hard thing to do, but because it comes from experience. It comes from the experiences that you had in your past incarnations. It comes from learning that choosing the darkness doesn't pay in the spiritual realm. Because you had incarnations before, I know I have, where I was the bad guy. That's the thing, right? We all get to be everything. You get to be everyone. Even as I'm sitting here in my Kendra body, and I can think of a type of person that has done the darkest deed in the world. And I was like, well, I would never do that. Well, of course, Kendra would never do that. But there was a version of me in an incarnation previously, before I got evolved past that to Kendra, who did do that. Because we all get to be and have to be everything. So those of us who are here choosing the light every day, it's because we've been dark before. We've been the darkest dark, and we learned that's not who we want to be.
Mario has a question. He says, do you think good and evil permeate throughout the universe? I mean, the only real example we see examples of true evil intent is among our own species, while other species can exhibit love. This is true. Like in animals, right? Like, if you look at animals, they eat each other because of food. Like, it's not like they're trying to be mean or evil, or except maybe hyenas. But, yeah, hyenas are kind of wackadoo.
I think, Mario, that yes, I think the premise of good and evil permeates throughout the entire universe. And I think it's even found in the animal realm. I think humans have romanticized animals to be nothing but love and light, but there is no such thing. Darkness exists everywhere. You cannot have darkness. You can't have light without darkness, right? The light is born from the darkness. So myself as a soul, having done certain regressions and certain work, have realized that, I'll just speak as myself. Let's see, just in myself. Let's not, put anything on anybody else. I was born into the darkness. And I think that we all are. We're born into the darkness as souls. And the work of the soul through each life, through each incarnation, is to move further and further towards the darkness. Towards the light. So that when you come to move towards the light, out of the darkness that you're born into. So when you come to that reawakening, or that incarnation where you reawaken, or you come in and you have the luxury of having parents that give you the programming or the lack of programming, the space to self-program, so you remain awake. In that incarnation, that's when you're going to get up and choose the light, because you have your soul has a full understanding based on experience of the dark, and what the outcome of choosing the dark or reveling in the dark or choosing to stay in the dark, the type of life that brings. Right? You want to go back to the incarnation where you did something bad and you were electrocuted, where they killed you back, right? Do you want to do that again? Probably not. Right?
No, not this time. No.
We're learning things, and I think that's going to be throughout the whole universe. If you look at animals, you look at nature, everything has two sides. It has a darker side, a lighter side. Whether you want that to be love and hate, or good and bad, or however you want to break that up, it's both things have to exist to create that balance, to keep things moving forward. So I think that's what would be throughout the entire universe, right?
Agreed. I think that's so true. It's so true. I mean, I look at my cat, Kendra. She's both light and dark, because
mine too.
Right? I have the bite marks to prove it. Just
right. But then at the same time, his name's Echo, and he's an Egyptian Mao, and he's definitely the guardian of this place and is here on his own soul mission. And sometimes he is the most loving being. And then sometimes I catch him running across the yard with a baby chipmunk between his teeth. But I hear what you were saying, though, Cathryn, how you were and what you were trying to interpret. What Mario might have been saying is that maybe humans are the only one that that would kill, for example, for sport, as opposed to just
unless you're a hyena. No, I'm just teasing. I have a thing against hyenas apparently today. No. But no, we do see this in other things. I mean, even when you look at gorillas, for instance, they have been shown to show violence and jealousy, toward not only their own species but towards humans in some aspects, right? So we've seen this. It's not like these emotions are completely restricted towards the humans of us, right? I mean, look at, honestly, we see those sort of emotions actually even in just regular, like dogs and cats and stuff like that. I mean, my daughter has two dogs that, God forbid, if you pet one of them and not the other, like all hell's going to break loose. They're just like, you know what I mean? Right? So, I think it's just that we're viewing them from a different perspective rather than, possibly the human perspective in some aspects.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're viewing them. I think you're so right about that, because we're viewing things from a perspective that I think a lot of humans, myself included, I've been guilty of it too, where I kind of put myself above other things on the planet when I'm looking at things. Like here's the human way, and then everybody, this thing or that thing. But we are a part of nature. We are a part of the animal kingdom. We are a part of this realm, and we are no higher. It's a slight different in brain function, which allows us to have a greater awareness, which doesn't make us better. What it should do is make us more responsible, because we have that extra intellectual piece, right? It should it should make us more responsible and compassionate to everything else. That's what it should create in us, is compassion, where we wouldn't do certain things because we have the capacity to understand how that would affect the animal, the child, the whatever it is that someone in this situation would be harming. That intellectual piece is what should be the great difference. But I've seen more compassion in some animals than humans quite often.
Yeah.
So there is no hierarchy. They're the same way we have emotions and energies and shifts and all of that. They do too.
look at this. I got to show you this. Speaking of cats, you can see how he's got his head stuck against mine. I'm like, and it's like when we talk about compassion, I had a little bit of a stomach ache yesterday. There's my cat giving me lots and lots of cuddles, apparently. But, at the same time can turn around and just give you a good chomp on the hand,
Yeah.
like you were saying, Lynda. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. So
it's so true. I like what Mario had said, his first comment. Kathy, I don't know if you want to bring that up. Yeah, it's much sadder to know that so many people who remain disconnected choose to do so out of fear of judgment. They remain frozen in that lower vibration by doing so.
absolutely.
That is so true. It's so
That
true.
is so insightful, Mario. That is so insightful. It's so true. It's absolutely true. And that's what it is, though. That is what is programmed into most of us in those first 5 years, right? And here's the thing. If once you get to be 6 years old, whatever was programmed in cannot be changed by anything or anyone outside of yourself. Only you can do that. And then this realm does not provide the tools for that. For the longest time, they've been hush. But there's always been spirituality and reconnection and spiritual reawakening. And I think we come in cohorts. So I wasn't surprised when I said, oh, I began to experience this as in this Kendra body in 2012. When you said, well, it was around the same time for me, 2010 to.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Around 2010 is when it started really happening for me. It was just, and I feel like I was thrown into it in a good way, not in a bad way particularly, but it was almost like, here it is, face it. Like, a lot of people go through a lot of their spiritual awakening and, all kinds of different ways. For me, it was definitely into the world of the paranormal. And when I did so, some people, psychics, mediums, readers, whatever you want to call them, they have their reading on love, or they're reading on this, or they're reading on, spirit, whatever. And I'm like, I'm really seeing dead people and I don't know what the fuck to do. Like I'm seeing all kinds of things that I'm not, but it was so quick and it was so fast. And, even though I had kind of seen some of this growing up, there was a time where you just don't, you're raising kids, you've got other things going on, you're paying bills, you got mortgage, and like you just don't have time for, dead people to be showing up in the middle of your living room.
This spiritual reawakening stuff, this happens at the worst possible times in our lives, right?
Or the best, right? Or the best, right when it's supposed to happen, right when it's supposed to happen.
Right.
Because it's right when you need it to happen. It's when your soul can't take the discomfort anymore because you know that something is off. And you've played by the rules and you've done all the things, or maybe you're someone who is always against the grain, right? This was all just second nature to me as a child, right? I came in, like all children, wide awake, and also received programming and conditioning that was opposite to who I was and what I came to express. And I wouldn't have had the words at 6 years old, but it was right when I was around 6 years old that I realized that I better be quiet. I better stop saying certain things and I better stop talking, because I wouldn't have known to say it this way, but I was being othered and I was being whispered about. And something's wrong with that one. That one's a little bit off. Like, what does she mean that she's hanging out with great grandma and their great grandma's staying with her? And you know what I mean? What does she mean? What do you mean, great grandma, and you had a great time this morning? She's been dead for 3 years. What do you mean? Yeah, she's my bestie. She's still here with me to this very day. She hasn't gone anywhere, right? Just her body. And that's what it is. So then you begin to conform, because who wants to be othered, especially as a little kid? For little kids, all you want to do is fit in, right? And so you fall asleep and you begin to live out the role that the simulation has created for you, instead of the one that you came to experience for yourself. And you fall into that, and we fall into that for different periods of time. Like my teenage years were an absolute nightmare, fast asleep, but still something inside my soul was uncomfortable, but I didn't know what to do. So it expressed as everything from drugs and alcohol, promiscuity, you name it, trying to battle the traumas that I'd gone through, physically, mentally, and emotionally, but also spiritually as well. That's suppression of who I was as well. And then what happens is you'll reason away the discomfort, you'll suppress the discomfort, and you'll get happy again, or so you think, right? Surface, and life will go on. Like you said, now I'm having kids and I'm paying bills and da 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 da. But then again, you're gonna hit that wall again where the discomfort won't let you move past it until you address.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to hit that wall, and you're going to get to that point where it's sink or swim, where it's life or death, like in a real way for you. And that's when you change. And I hope everybody has love and support around them, and tools, practical tools to maneuver the matrix during a spiritual awakening. Hit us up at Kendra Yoga Center. We will be happy to share all those tools with you.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much, Kendra, for being a part of the show today. We truly appreciate it.
You got to come back.
She will. We're gonna
so much for having me. I would love to come back, and I would love to get into a conversation that Kathy kind of brought up about just like motherhood and birthing these beings.
That would
I think that we need to do that 100%. So
okay. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And guys, thank you for watching. Please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that you click like on the channel. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything, and have an amazing week. We will see you next time.